everybody, welcome back to the channel. We're continuing our read-through of The Wheel of Time, Book 1, The Eye of the World, our little book club we got going on here. We're up to Chapter 14, The Stag and the Lion. And the crew has shown up to Bear Lawn, and they are staying at this inn, the Stag and the Lion. And unfortunately, the inn is near full. The innkeeper, Master Fitch, tells Moraine that with this winter been going on, people are finally, I guess it's warmed up a little bit, people are finally able to get out of their mountain homes, and they're just streaming into town to see other people. But he's going to try to do what he can to give them the most comfortable experience while they're there. Moraine does ask, I understand that there are children of light in Bear Lawn. Is there any reason to be troubled? And again, that's what you're going to do. You're going to start asking innocent questions to learn about really yourself here. And he gives her the response. He says, well, certainly nothing to worry about Mistress Alice, the name that she's going with. But many claim that there's an Aes Sedai in town. She sort of raises her eyebrow. But he calms her down. Don't worry, that is not true, and no one wants to see some old harmless woman hurt just so the children can have an excuse to whip up a frenzy. Even there, just imagining these Aes Sedai as old, decrepit women when Moraine is standing right in front of him. Well, she asks an interesting question. She says, is Min still here? I wish to talk with her if she is. This is the first time we've heard this name, but we'll see who this Min character is. Well, they are able to eat. They get led away, and forgive me, not to eat yet. They get led away to kind of refresh themselves, and the men go to take some baths. And this is just such a funny situation. I can only imagine. We read that there are like 12 copper tubs in a circle, and they're all, soaking in the water, washing off all the grime of the journey. When the just sort of servant comes in and asks if they need anything and gets them talking. And who is more than willing to talk? Well, Matt. Matt seems to be our troublemaker, and just sort of asking this servant, what's the news? What's going on? And the servant brings up the word Trollocs that have been rumored up in the mountains. And Matt jumps onto that one. He says, Trollocs, you let me tell you about Trollocs. And he begins to try to share what their experience has been. Well, Rand tries to stop him. Tom tries to stop him by playing it off as just, gleaming tales that Tom is. But nothing doing. He still keeps sharing when Lan comes into the room, and he essentially ushers the servant boy, packs him out of the room, shuts the door, turns around once he's gone, and says, don't talk about Trollocs. Don't even think about Trollocs. How hard is it to do what you've been told? The Dark One has servants. He has eyes and ears everywhere. You can't just go blabbing to people because you think that you've got a good story. Well, Matt's squarely scolded. They finish their baths. They finish getting ready. They come back down. And yes, when they come back into the place where they're going to eat in a room by themselves, secluded, which is nice, there is a girl standing, not much taller than Moraine, beside Moraine when they come in. And this must be the Min person. But we don't get anything from her. We don't get any information. She's just standing by Moraine. Well, they go to the meal. They ask more questions from Master Fitch. And Moraine, once everyone leaves, they kind of shut the door again to speak freely and asks if they've heard any news, if Lan's picked up anything. Well, Lan tells a little bit of this false dragon character. And he says, there was a battle in Geldon, and Logain was the victor. A dozen different stories are floating about, but they all agree on that. And Rand thinks that's interesting that he used the name for the first time, but it also almost sounds like Lan knew who this person was. Well, they finish the meal. They go upstairs. Some are getting ready for bed. Rand is getting ready for bed. Tom is going down to be a gleeman, to play his pipe, his flute, and to tell stories and juggle and do everything that he does. And that's sort of when scene 1 ends in the chapter. Scene 2 is Rand is sleeping and he is having another dream. And in this dream, he's in a stone hallway, very, very long. It feels like it stretches forever. There's doors on either side. Well, he walks down and one wall opened up into a series of arches and a balcony was there. He walked out on the balcony and saw this very unique sunset, this very unique skyline that he really struggled to even explain what he was looking at. We turned around and the room is changed. It's no longer the hallway. It's this large stone room with a roaring fireplace and a table with chairs around it. Flames roared on the hearth like a forge fire with bellows pumping, but gave no heat. And he notices that it doesn't give any heat, which is odd. There was a single mirror that hung on the wall, and when Rand looks at it, everything else is clearly visible, but himself, he's all blurred. And a man that he hadn't previously seen is standing in front of the fireplace. He's dressed in dark clothes, very fine cut. And the man says to him, "Once more we meet face to face." And just for an instant, his mouth and his eyes became openings into endless caverns of flame. And Rand jumps back and tries to pull on the door that's closed, but it's locked. He can't get out. And the man sort of tries to begin talking with him. Rand is panicked internally. And the man says, "You seem thirsty. Why don't you have a drink?" There's a drink appears on the table. Well, Rand picks it up. He is thirsty. He goes to take it, and he notices that the man here is leaning forward very intently. And just something in Rand's mind says, "I probably shouldn't do this." Puts the cup back down, and the visible disappointment on the man's face is evident. He knows that he's made a good decision there. Rand has. He asks him, "What do you want? Who are you?" And the man responds, "Some call me Baal Zaman." Baal Zaman? Baal Zaman. Rand knows the name, the Dark One. And the door handle is still not budging, even though he's trying desperately to get the door handle out. Baal Zaman asks him, "Are you the one? You cannot hide it from me forever. You cannot even hide yourself from me, nor on the highest mountain or in the deepest cave. I know you down to the very hair, the smallest hair." And Rand has no idea what he's talking about. He seems to think that he is someone, and Rand is confused. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He says, "Your father was chosen by the White Tower, and your mother was no more than a brood mare to their plans." Rand snaps back, "My father's a good man. My mother was a good woman. Don't you dare talk about them." And this brings a smile to Baal Zaman's face. He says, "So there is some spirit in you after all." But then he says a few names. He says, the Amarylline seed, the Amarylline seed will use you until you are consumed, just as Davian was used, as Yorian Stonebow, as Gyar Amalasan, as Raylan Darksbane, just as Logain is being used. They'll use you until nothing is left. These are some names that Rand doesn't know. The last one he knows, this false dragon. And Baal Zaman is claiming that the Aes Sedai, that's the White Tower, they are using these false dragons for their own purpose. And when they're used up, they'll cast them aside. And he claims here, you are going to be used by them just the same way. Well, Rand begins to recite some catechism that they're taught by the wisdom from children. You are bound in Sheol Gul, you and all the Forsaken, bound by the Creator until the end of time. And Baal Zaman is laughing. He mocks him. You think that you can bind me anywhere? Never. I've never been bound. Well, their back and forth goes here for a while. When Rand's attention is drawn back to the table, and no longer is there a goblet, but there is a rat that's there. Baal Zaman lifts the rat through whatever magical power and actually crunches the spinal cord of this poor rat, snaps in two. The poor rat is writhing in pain, and Rand is horrified at what's going on here. Well, Rand is done with this. He claims, you know what, I'm done. This is a dream. I'm going to wake up. And right before the dream comes to a close, Baal-Zaman looks at him, brings that bony finger towards him, and bends it just like the rat. And Rand wakes up with his entire body crunched in pain. And he wakes up sitting up, breathing, looking all around. There's no pain. There's no fire. Everyone's snoring. And it was a dream. We finished a chapter. He huddled under his blanket, trying to find the calmness of the void the way Tam had taught him. But sleep was a long time returning. This character, Baal-Zaman, the Dark One, is this really who he is? Why is he able to get into Rand's dreams? And why does he seem to know who Rand is? And is Rand someone else than he thinks he is? We'll see where it goes. What other information are they going to find while here in Bear Lawn? Who's this Min character? And are these Children of Light going to cause some problems for the crew while they're there? We'll see where the story takes us. Thanks so much for watching. You can like and subscribe if you're interested, and we'll continue the story in the next video.